Okay, so today we are diving into a situation, uh, a powder keg.
Powder keg. All right. I like it.
Yeah. Argentina.
Oh, boy.
The new president versus the nation's public universities.
Yeah.
Big clash happening right now.
Huge.
And we're gonna unpack it all.
Let's do it.
So picture this, right? You're scrolling through your news feed, and all you see are these images of massive student protests, like engulfing cities across Argentina. Buenos Aires, Cordoba, Rosario, like everywhere.
It's amazing how quickly something like this can just, explode.
I know, right? And it's intense, like really intense. And it all boils down to newly elected President Javier Milei.
Right, right.
He vetoed this bill. It would have given more money to these public universities, and he calls it irresponsible.
Yeah. Well, he did campaign on a pretty radical free market ideology.
Right.
So, I mean, this kind of tracks. He wants to dismantle what he sees as, the government being too big, inefficient.
Yeah.
Lots of promises to cut, cut, cut. So this VO is definitely a sign he's sticking to that, even with something like education.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, student groups, unions, they are not happy about this.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not just them. Some politicians that usually back Milei, even they're kind of like, whoa, hold on a second.
It's a bold move, for sure. And, this quote from Piera Fernandez de Piccoli, the head of the Argentine University Federation, it really gets to the heart of it, I think. She's not just talking about budget cuts here.
Right.
She's talking about the survival of public universities.
Yeah.
Like, they could cease to exist.
Yeah.
This isn't just some spreadsheet. This is like their whole system, something they see as, essential to Argentina. And it might be going away.
Yeah, and that's huge.
Huge.
And then, just when you thought it couldn't get any more dramatic,
Of course.
Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner steps in.
Oh, wow. Okay, so now it's a whole other ballgame.
It is, for those who maybe aren't as familiar, she's the former president.
Right.
Still a very influential figure in Argentina.
Oh, yeah. She's got a lot of pull.
And she comes out swinging, defending these universities. She even called herself a daughter of the public education system.
Yeah, and you can't underestimate the power of that kind of statement, right?
Yep.
Especially coming from her. Because, look, Kirchner, she's a divisive figure, right? But she's got this undeniable appeal, particularly for people who remember her time in office. The social welfare programs, a lot of which were, strengthened during her and her husband's, Nestor Kirchner's presidencies.
Right.
Those are powerful memories. So when she throws her weight behind something like this, it becomes bigger than just a policy debate. Suddenly, it's about two very different visions for Argentina's future.
Absolutely. And then on the other side, you have folks like Martin Lustau, Miriam Bregman, both very vocal against Milei on this.
Right, they've been pretty critical.
Lustau calls it an injustice. Bregman, she doesn't hold back. She says Milei's a terraplanista.
Terraplanista.
Which, for anyone who doesn't know, in Argentina, that's a serious burn.
It's not your everyday insult, that's for sure.
No. Basically saying he's so out of touch with reality, it's like he thinks the earth is flat.
Right. Like he's living in a different world.
Exactly.
And I think that kind of sums up the core of this whole debate, right? It's about so much more than just the money. It's about the role of the government, especially when it comes to things like education, healthcare, these essential services. And you can't forget Argentina's history here.
Right.
Peronism. That movement, the one that stresses social justice and the state, actively providing for its citizens, that's deeply rooted in Argentina. Milei and his policies, they challenge that directly. It's a clash of ideologies,
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of challenging long-held beliefs, we got to talk about Milei's move to privatize Aerolíneas Argentinas.
National airline.
Yeah.
Big move.
It might seem like a totally separate thing from the universities, but it really highlights how far he's willing to go.
It's like if he's willing to do that,
yeah,
to something so symbolic, what else is on the table?
Right, exactly.
It just feeds into the fear and anxiety around the university situation. People are thinking, okay, if he can get rid of the national airline, what's stopping him from completely overhauling education?
Right, and it's especially unsettling for a country with a history as turbulent as Argentina.
Exactly. It makes you wonder, how much change is too much? Where's the line between pushing for progress and, needing some sense of stability?
Right.
Especially in a place that's seen its fair share of upheaval.
So where do we even go from here? What's the takeaway?
Well, I mean, it feels like Argentina's at this tipping point, right? You've got Milei, who's completely set on this path of radical change. And then on the other side, You have a huge chunk of the population who rely on these systems, these institutions, and they're not just going to give them up without a fight. It's
Absolutely.
a standoff.
And it really makes you think, when a leader's vision clashes this much with the values, the actual institutions of a country, what happens?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
I guess we'll see. Argentina might just have the answer.
We'll be watching.
We will be watching.